There she is. How you doing?
Good morning. What city are you in?
In Reno, Nevada.
Oh, hey, I remember you. How's it
Yeah,
going?
yeah. My hair is a little shorter since the last time we saw each other. I think that was what, March, April, something like that. You guys
My
were.
hair is a little grayer since I last saw you. I think I've gained 25% more grays.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember that night at the place called the Virginia Street Brew House, and you had a
Mhm.
brand new tour manager. The other guy went AWOL. It was just things were a little.
Both of them were terrible. I'm telling you, finding a good tour manager is like finding a good husband.
Yeah. Well, if this radio thing doesn't work out for me, I'll be happy to jump on the road with you. I know the ins and outs of that business all too
Right
well.
on. Oh, right on. Let me know.
Dorothy, great to see you. You're looking good, even with the shades on.
Yeah, no, they were like, oh, by the way, it's on video. And I'm like, oh, good morning.
What?
You
I know.
know, I'm just enjoying the holidays at home and
Do you do a lot of writing at home? I see the piano there.
Um, Roland gave me this piano
Oh,
and it's a weighted keyboard. It's really nice. I need to get some speakers for it. I've got an acoustic guitar. I set up my office this month, so there's my acoustic guitar.
nice.
I do mostly writing in the studio with the people I'm working with.
Yeah.
I used to do more of this solo, but I enjoy writing with people much more. So I like to go in their studio and kind of let the magic happen.
Yeah. It's interesting. I've got a song that I think would work really, really well for what you and your organization, your group of people do. I should send it over to you.
Send it. Absolutely send it.
Especially after reading a little bit. I like to try and prep for these interviews so I'm not a complete lame-o when I jump in to talk with an artist, especially since, somebody like you is giving up your time, and there's not, that's the only thing we have a limited amount of to do this. So I was doing a little bit of reading and thinking, man, there's a dark history around this album, especially the meaning of the title, and all that. Before we get to that, Gifts from the Holy Ghost, it's an impressive jump in sonic sound and songwriting for you. I'm kind of curious, because we've had a long history. You've played here a couple of different times over the past several years. What led to the change in kind of overall image and sound?
I stopped listening to other people.
Good for
I
you.
think, and that's great and everything. I think that life is kind of like a learning curve. It's like a journey, and you learn things, you pick things up, and you leave things that don't work for you. And um, yeah, I just wanted to make music in the beginning. I wanted to sing, and then I discovered I really like writing.
Mhm.
And but a lot of people want to be involved and stuff. So I had the first two records with a lot of help, and not that the third record wasn't a lot of help. It was just that I got a lot of help, but I got to dictate where that help came from and what it sounded like and what it looked like, and what made the record and what didn't. So I was very hands-on. I would reach out to friends like Jason Hook and Keith Wallen and Trevor Lukather, Chris Lord-Alge, and Scott Stevens, and everybody that was involved in the record. A lot of very, very strong guitar players. And I'm like, hey, let's get in the studio and just see what happens, like let's write some songs. I wanted it to be rock, hard rock. And then honestly, I didn't put too many restrictions or rules on myself. I just wanted to make a great album. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it was during a time where we're all going through this crazy, I think everyone's got a little bit of lockdown PTSD maybe. But I knew, like, hey, we're not touring right now. It's a perfect time to make a record. And what do I want to say on
Yeah.
the record? And so, and here's the variant, the
Very
swirl.
cool. Love that.
Yeah,
I
proud of
just
it.
purchased my first record player since I think the last record player I owned, I was like 13 or 14. And I was looking because I was getting all this vinyl sent to me. And I'm like, I really want to get a record player. I'm not sure what is out there. And I saw all these really cool, fairly inexpensive Bluetooth record players that I could just Bluetooth into whatever. So that's awesome. I'm going to have to jump online and grab me one of those.
Oh yeah, no, we'll send it to you. It's on us.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me, Dorothy, in a bit greater detail, the story of naming the album, specifically the Holy Ghost part.
Oh, so that happened before I even knew what it meant. It kind of, I've had a couple miracle experiences in my life. It's really I'm not here to preach to anybody. I'm just here to kind of share my journey and my experience. And I've had a couple moments in my life where I believe in God, and I really feel God reached into my life and kind of intervened. And
Mhm.
the first time was when I was experiencing illness from my breast implants that I had. Um, I have two regrets in life, and one was giving up martial arts as a kid, which I'm back doing now, and the
Cool.
other was getting that surgery to
Huh.
begin with. But had I not gotten that, maybe I wouldn't have had this like exchange where I was honestly, I was praying because I was feeling so sick, and I was like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I woke up one day, and the first thought I had was take your implants out, almost as if someone was saying it to me. And so I woke up and I started Googling and researching about breast implants, and breast implant illness
Mhm.
was really gaining traction on the internet, and women were having support groups and talking about their experiences with this. So it's a real thing. And some doctors were not acknowledging it, and some doctors like mine, Dr. Ritu Chopra in Beverly Hills, they were acknowledging it. And now he doesn't even put the implants in anymore because the
Mm.
data. So I knew that
Wow.
I was not feeling well, and so that's kind of one of the miracle experiences I had where that I heard that message, and I got up and I took care of business. And everyone was booked out for a year, and it was right before lockdown.
Oh my God.
This was
The
a
timing
literal
was
miracle.
impeccable.
The
Yeah.
timing, the timing. I got yanked out of LA. I moved back to San Diego. I'm feeling pretty sick. I'm having all these crazy physical and psychological symptoms. And then I start looking it up, and then I reached out to Dr. Chopra, and I'm like, hey, everybody's booked out, but I'll wait. I want to get this out of my body.
Yeah.
Like, we can get you in next month. Can you come in? And so he literally saved my life,
Wow.
and that happened. So that was the first miracle. The second miracle I saw was the guy that overdosed on heroin on my bus and died, got resurrected. And my sound guy and my manager and I just we didn't know what to do, so we just started praying for him.
Wow.
And they give Narcan a lot. My boyfriend's a paramedic and a fireman. They do give Narcan a lot, and that's a very easy explanation. But he was dead for a while, and I know what I saw with my own eyes. And so the crazy thing about it was the night before that happened, I wasn't religious, I was just, God, if you can hear me, I need you to prove it. Like, if you can hear me and you're real, like, I want to see it. And the next night, our tech overdoses and dies and then gets resurrected on my bus. And
Wow.
even my sound guy and I looked at each other, we're like, what just happened?
No doubt.
So that changed me forever. I knew from that moment on, I knew God was real. And I don't care what church you go to, like, none of that matters.
Yeah.
But the relationship with the higher power is what's important. So that happened as I was kind of transitioning into making this new album. And
Mm.
then I want to say the third miracle, I guess, was I woke up in my hotel in Brooklyn, and Gifts from the Holy Ghost popped into my head.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow, that sounds like my album title. That's really cool. So I wrote it down. I had no idea what the Holy Ghost was. I had no idea what it meant.
Yeah.
I just wrote it down, and then I got saved in rehab 2020 in Nashville. I checked in on Halloween. It was a full moon. I checked in. They were doing like COVID precautions. The lab was shut down. So I was in isolation in medical for 3 days.
Oh my
And I
God.
had nothing. I had nothing. I had a tablet and a Joel Osteen book,
Mhm.
that I didn't like
My
preachers.
wife, my wife loves watching Joel Osteen on Saturday, Sunday mornings.
I did not. Like,
I'm
that's,
not about the evangelical stuff, but his messages sometimes
oh
actually
yeah.
put me in a good
He
mood. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can vibe to what you're saying.
he reaches people that would normally be like, no, turned off by that, right? Because they're afraid of like judgment and condemnation. And like, listen, we're all flawed, we're all broken, we're all messed up, we're human, right? And so I'm reading his book in rehab, and and I said the sinner's prayer out loud with him over the tablet. And when I went outside, because you're isolated, you have to wait for your test to come back. I went outside in this little smoking area patio, and there's some gardeners like within earshot down the sidewalk. They're pulling up these bushes, and one of them goes, "This one can still be saved." And I started bawling. It was like God spoke through the gardener and turned up the volume to tell me, what you just said, that prayer, I heard you, and now we're doing this together.
Wow.
So you're in my kingdom now. And I knew it. Like I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. And so this album's very special. It's not about religion. It's just I want people to know that they have a purpose and that they have, that they're supposed to do something. And if they turn that over to God and they turn that over and they start asking questions and praying, the answers will come. It says, ask and you shall receive. And that's absolutely true. So I hope that, I hope this music helps people. I couldn't have done it without all the wonderful people that were involved and without God. Like that's it.
Yeah.
It's not a Christian album. It's not about that. It's just got some deeper substance I hope that you all pick up on.
Yeah, that is awesome. What a great story. And it's funny. I was asking a friend of mine that I've known for about 15 years. She lost her ex-husband recently from early onset Alzheimer's, believe it or not, oddly enough. And she had a heroin addiction. And I said, "Oh my God, now that she's clean and sober," I said, "How does one decide that heroin, I think I want to try smoking that, or I think I want to do
Yeah,
that." What
pain, pain.
pain?
Nobody picks up because they're fine.
Mhm.
They're in pain. So they're looking, we're in this world and like we're getting bombarded on all sides, messages from the media, propaganda, the news, peer pressure, family, money problems, job, and none of us artists are immune to it. Like we go through that too. And pain. And I believe in spiritual warfare and generational curses.
Yeah,
So it can be a lifelong battle. Some people lose,
yeah,
people overcome it and break the curse. Either way, though, it's good to have heaven on your side when you're trying to fight that battle.
for sure. Okay, so Dorothy, 4 years between albums. That seems like an eternity. And
That was
honestly,
a long time.
a
Yeah.
lot of artists wouldn't have been able to survive, especially with the same record label with that much downtime. Um, Tell me about your relationship with Rock Nation.
Oh, they're great. Was
Gonna
it really
say, man,
cool?
they must have just. I mean, obviously, they're big believers in your art and what you do and who you are as an artist.
Was it really 4 years?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Um, well, maybe I needed that break. Maybe I needed that pause to really kick me in the ass for the next album. I don't know. They've been great. They've done a lot of like licensing and sync.
oh, that's awesome. There's some money there.
Yeah, no, you
Keep
can
the
do
lights
it with
on.
a label. You can do it without a label too.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and I just happened to be partnered with them. And um, the person that believed in me and gave me this opportunity was Jay Brown, Rihanna's manager.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
he's a very savvy, brilliant business person. He's got a great story. His past is great. Like, what a mentor to have. We don't talk too often, but when we do, it's very powerful. So, he's like, "You're a star." It's weird to hear that though, because I don't look at myself that way. I just, I feel like I don't know. I'm here to be in service through music to
Right.
people,
Yeah.
right?
No, that's cool.
And other artists I really love that I feel like are on that wavelength are people like Lady Gaga,
Hmm.
who are really sensitive and super creative. They're the real deal. Like she's brilliant.
And you
So
worked with Dolly Parton back in 2018.
yes,
Was that
yeah,
in person or was that
yeah.
sending stems? Or tell me about that. What a legend.
I have a picture of us in the studio. That was for Jennifer Aniston's movie Dumplin'.
Okay.
And Macy Gray, we refurbished, we reimagined Two Doors Down. Is it Two Doors Down or Three Doors Down? I know Three Doors Down is a band, but
I
yeah,
think it's yeah.
I was in the studio with her and she's like, "You've got a nice voice." And I'm like, "Oh." And I
Wow.
know she's really close with Miley Cyrus. I was like, I wish that could be my godmother.
No doubt.
So cool.
When we last saw you in concert, like we were talking about earlier, is the end of a tumultuous tour, and I'm looking at your website. I'm not seeing any shows booked until what, April in Florida?
Oh, we actually have a show in LA in 8 days at
Okay,
the Whiskey. So if you're in Southern California, we're playing the Whiskey on December 20th at, it's a Danny Wimmer live stream. So
nice.
we'll be there. We're going to play a show.
That's cool. I unfortunately, well, fortunately, long story short, won some raffle to get an all expense paid trip to Chicago to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra on
I'm
that
jealous.
day. How crazy,
Well, no, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. That's
right? The new track is called Black Sheep. I'm
Yep.
curious, Dorothy, do you ever feel like the black sheep of the family, or is it more of a reference to being a woman in a male dominated industry, or a
Oh,
little
no, no.
both, or nothing?
No, it has nothing to do with gender.
Good. Okay.
I grew up in so my mom and I came to San Diego when I was 3 or 4 years old, and Hungary was communist. But my whole family over there, they're all doctors. Doctors, they're highly educated. My stepdad was a Columbia professor, so grades were a big deal. And
Yeah.
I'm an artist, and
Yeah.
so I kind of like fucked off and just did my my own thing, and I wanted to make music and be creative and be an artist. So I am definitely the black sheep. And the song is really for the rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and metal community. Anyone that listens to alternative music, like you're one of us, you're in our family. So we love you. And we wrote this song for them. I just hope it resonates with anyone that feels like they're different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's okay to be different.
For sure. Yeah, I totally agree. Well, it's always impressive to watch you perform and do your art in the live setting, and I can't wait to hear what's going to come out next from you in the camp. And I hope we, either get to see you back again up here in Northern California, Northern Nevada sometime soon, or around the next album cycle. I know there's a few conventions and media, events happening in the new year. There's one big one in Vegas in February, which is I think the last time I saw you at a convention was probably the same thing last year. Um,
Oh,
yeah, but
I
with,
might be there.
with Ken Pittman, you were out there with Kenny.
Oh, the radio
Hashtag
thing.
happens
Oh, that
thing.
was really
Yeah,
cool. That
yeah.
was fun. That was a Top Golf, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was totally fun, totally fun. Anyways, it's always great to catch up with you, Dorothy. Keep having fun doing what you're doing. You're a pleasure to watch live, and again, I hope to see you again very soon.
Okay, thank you. Happy holidays.
Wonderful holiday. You too.